Hello, welcome back to Yoga with Paige. Today we are flowing through a nice masculine energy activation flow. So this will help boost your confidence, your feelings of self-esteem as we connect to the solar plexus chakra. So we'll be holding some of these postures for a few breaths, really activating and connecting to that yang energy, that sense of control. So try to use as much control as you can as we move in between the poses. Connect to the transitions. Focus on moving through the entire sequence and how your body feels in each moment, not just when you're in a pose. We don't need any props for this class, but if you would like to have a block or a strap handy to make some things more accessible, please grab those now. And we warm up with a few sun salutations. So if you're a little extra tight today, I would recommend pausing this video, taking about 5 minutes to give yourself a little bit of a warm up, but we will flow through some sun salutations to open the entire body. And whenever you're ready, we can get started standing at the top of the mat. Connecting to your breath first in mountain pose, Tadasana. Rooting down through the feet, drawing a nice line of energy up through the legs as you slightly tuck in the tailbone. Keeping the shoulders nice and firm, palms face forward. Inhale nice and deep, expanding the belly. And exhale, drawing the navel into the spine, releasing all of the air. On your next inhale, reach the arms up, palms meet. Take your gaze up towards the fingers. And exhale, bring them down to heart center. Inhale, shoot the arms up. And exhale, flat back, dive down. We can keep a nice bend in the knees here for the first one, or for all of them if you need. Inhale, halfway lift, reaching through the crown of the head, taking this first salutation a little bit slower. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands, step the feet back, coming in through a nice high plank, pressing away from the mat, keeping the elbows tucked in as you slowly lower down, Chaturanga. Inhale, chest comes forward. Nice spine extension. And exhale, roll over the toes, sending the hips up. Maybe pedaling out the feet here for a moment before gazing at the hands and slowly making your way up to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, hands travel up as far as they need to. And exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise, hands reach up. Exhale, Anjali Mudra, hands to heart. Inhale, send them skyward. And exhale, fold. Halfway lift. And plant the hands, plank pose. Taking a nice strong vinyasa. Really beginning to feel the body as we connect and synchronize movement to breath. Gaze at the hands, make your way to the top of the mat, and lift up, extend through the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise. Exhale, heart center. Taking this last salutation at your own pace, noticing how you feel. And we meet in downward facing dog whenever you arrive. No need to rush. Enjoy the steady rhythm of your breath. And when we meet in downward facing dog, bend the right knee, really sending the hips up, pressing through the mat, waking up the back of the left leg. Hold here, one more breath. And then carefully switch, bending the left knee, reaching the right heel down. Extending both legs, take one breath to reset in downward facing dog. Then carefully lower the knees down, finding tabletop, gliding the hands underneath the shoulders, grounding down through the tops of the feet. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, round through the back. Taking a few rounds, really preparing the spine and finding what you need here. Finding one more round wherever you are, meeting in a nice flat back. Beautiful. Inhale, send the left arm forward and the right leg behind. Nice extension, create space. Hold here. Then plant the left hand. Send this left leg, kind of kickstand it behind you. Plant the right foot, right arm reaches up. Really find your position here. Ground down through the left foot and raise the right leg. Tapping the foot to the mat 4 times. Squeezing through the glutes. Nice and active lower body. And then raising your leg one more time, bending the knee, reaching the right hand for the knee, and using it to help you open, trying to take the knee skyward, taking your gaze up or keeping it down, whatever helps you balance a little bit more. Breathe here, 2 more breaths. And on your next exhale, gently lower the right leg, facing the front of the mat, sitting onto the knees. Inhale, lift the chest up. And exhale, taking a little seated cat-cow, but a fun one this time. So take the thumbs by the shoulders. Exhale, send the hands forward as you round through the back. Inhale, draw the hands back so your thumbs kind of reach your shoulders. And exhale. Kind of shooting this energy, like pulling an arrow back and then shooting it forward. One more round. Finding a nice neutral spine, and then taking the hands in front, coming back through tabletop to thread the needle. Left hand plants down, inhale, right reaches up, and exhale, threading it under the shoulder. Coming to lie on the right shoulder, creating space in the upper back, releasing tension in the shoulders. Exhale, plant the left hand. Inhale, reach the right back up. And tabletop, preparing to begin again. Inhale, right arm reaches, left leg. Creating a nice long line here. Keeping that shoulder away from the ears. Exhale, plant the right hand, kickstand that leg, plant the left foot, reach the left arm up. Nice long line. Making sure you are stable and secure here first before lifting your left leg. And then tapping the mat, nice and slow and steady. Control the movements. Control the need to want to move faster. And then taking your hip opener, finding your knee, and sending it up to the ceiling, to the sky. Connect to the core. Feel some heat, some fire there. Beautiful. Find some ease wherever you can. And exhale, gently release, coming back to our little thunderbolt pose for our fun little seated cat-cow. Exhale, shoot the arms out. Inhale, pull them back. Elbows out to the side, shoulder height. On the inhale, squeezing the scapula together. Beautiful. One more round. Finish nice and strong. And then carefully let the hands fall to the thighs. Plant them in front of the knees, tuck the toes, send the hips up, and turn to the long edge of the mat. Taking a wide feet stance, grounding down through the outer edges of the feet. Planting the hands underneath the shoulders. Scoot back a little bit here. Planting the hands under the shoulders, allowing yourself to slowly, carefully open up. Not forcing anything, we're here for a few breaths before coming into some dynamic, fun movements. Meeting yourself where you're at, whether it's fingertips, palms, forearms, forehead. No judgments, no comparisons. Gripping through the mat with the feet. Finding strength in the back of the legs here. Taking up space. And on your next inhale, carefully begin to press yourself back up, coming up onto the fingertips. Right hand plants down in front of the chest. Inhale, left peels up, keeping the hips where they are, revolve, reach for the sky. Bending this right knee, coming into a nice side lunge, sending the hips back a little bit. We can readjust the planted hand if need be. And we can stay here, or we have an option to bind the left arm behind, trying to reach for this bent thigh. Wherever you can breathe easy. If we've taken our bind, release that arm back up to the sky. Keeping this right thigh bent, carefully and with control, lift up, taking the arms overhead. Sinking down into the hips. And on this next breath, coming into a little warrior two stance. So pointing this right foot to the front, sending this left arm in front of you and the right overhead, dancing warrior, leaning back. Reaching this right arm up with the left, straighten the legs, turn to face the front of the mat, and reach the arms overhead. On your next exhale, release the hands, frame this right leg, and flex the foot. This is where we can come up onto a block. We can always take our feet in closer together, make this more accessible for yourself. One more breath. And then plant the foot, turn back carefully to the long edge of the mat. Find one breath here, sinking the hips down. Then left hand plants under the chest, right arm peels up, nice big twist. Breathe. Exhale, bend the left knee. Reposition if need be. And we can take our bind or taking whatever variation we took on the other side. Beautiful. One more big breath. And reaching the right arm up, skyward. Carefully connect to your core, lifting up. Arms are overhead. And dancing warrior, dance it out. Beautiful. Turn that front foot. And straightening the legs, hold on to the wrist. Take the hands overhead, big side body stretch. Exhale, frame the left leg, slowly take the chest close to the thigh, flexing the foot. Using your exhales to come a little bit closer. Planting the foot, and this time sweeping back into a nice downward facing dog. Find a few breaths to reset here. Take a moment to notice how you feel. Reaching the heels down, hips up. One last breath. And then inhale. Lift the heels, coming onto the balls of the feet. Exhale, roll through a nice high plank. Then send the hips back up. Taking these 3 times. Beautiful. And then finding another roll into high plank, holding here. Ground down through the left toes. Bend the right knee, coming into a little wild thing. So send this leg over the left as you flip onto the outer edge of the left foot. Right arm reaches up. Sending the hips skyward. We can stay here. We can open. Try to reach for the other leg. Whatever variation suits you. Maybe taking the hand behind the head. One more breath. Beautiful. And carefully make your way into a side plank. Stacking the feet. Pressing away from the mat, keeping those hips high. Reaching this right leg up, trying to grab the big toe with peace fingers and planting it a little bit further, a little bit more open than a normal lunge, coming into a little lizard. So staying up high on your hands, or we can come down onto the forearms, depending on how open we are. I recommend finding a little rock here, a little forward and backward motion. Allowing your hips to sink down, balancing the stretch with strength. Beautiful. Finding your last breath here, maybe taking a nice static stretch. And then releasing the left knee, coming into a low lunge, heel toeing that foot underneath the hips. Inhale, reach the arms up, palms meet. Exhale, sink down lower into the hips, taking the hands behind the head. Holding here, getting a nice stretch in the backs of the arms, maybe taking a slight back bend. On your next inhale, straighten the arms. Exhale, plant the left hand, reaching the knee up, finding a little twist. And then reaching that right arm back as we flip onto the outer edges of the feet. One big breath here. Come back through and make your way into downward facing dog. Taking another spinal roll, inhale, raise the heels, exhale, roll nice and high through plank. Let's find one more. They feel so good for our body. Inhale, heels lift, exhale, we roll. Nice high plank. Bend the left knee, you know what's coming next. Find your version of Wild Thing. Moving slowly, listening to your body, whatever it's telling you. And when you're ready, make your way into side plank. You're doing amazing. Lifting the top leg, finding the big toe, and carefully stepping it to the outer edge of the mat. Working your way into your lizard. Letting those hips sink down. Coming back to the breath. Last one here. Before dropping the right knee, finding your low lunge, arms reach up high, palms meet, and they come behind the head. Expanding through the chest, through the heart center. Believe it or not, the Anahata chakra, the heart chakra, is connected with masculine energy. Breathe into your power. And on your next inhale, arms release. Plant the right hand and reach up, nice high, full body twist. And nectar of the moon, reaching back for that beautiful foot. Take a little peek at it. Release tension in the hips. And carefully come back to our downward facing dog. And then make your way into child pose. Finding a little rest here before we enter into our cool down. Releasing the lower back. Finding yourself close to the earth. Let yourself surrender on this next breath. Let your arms become heavy. And on your inhale, lift the chest. Press through the hands to come onto the belly. Preparing for a little locust pose. Reaching the arms to the sides. Press through the pelvis. And send the chest up. Arms come by the sides. We can also lift the legs if you so wish. We have an option. We can take snake pose, binding the hands behind the lower back and using those to lift the chest higher. Breathe. Exhale, release where you are. Extend the left leg, the left arm to the side, kicking the right leg over, rolling onto the left shoulder, getting a nice shoulder stretch. Beautiful little opening here. Rolling back onto the belly, coming into one more. snake locust pose, whatever have you, yogi's choice. Shoulders are down, we feel the back lighting up with strength. And exhale, right arm comes out. Maybe lying the right ear down. And from here, roll back onto the belly and make your way onto the back. Beautiful. Planting the feet, hip width apart. Arms lie by the sides, palms down. Exhale, send the hips up, squeeze, bridge pose. Knitting the knees together, not letting them splay outwards. Send the hips up a little bit higher. 2 more breaths, you got this. And exhale, carefully release the hips to the mat, extending the legs up, finding legs up the wall. Just taking a few moments to let the blood kind of rush up, back up to the heart, away from the lower extremities. Maybe roll out the ankles. And finding a last back of the legs stretch. You can reach for the toes and pull the legs close to the chest, really rooting down through the sit bones, making sure they're still on the mat. We can use a yoga strap here to make this more accessible. You can take one leg at a time, and if you did, we can switch sides. Just a few more breaths. Getting a little stretch after the strength. And then releasing into a reverse pigeon pose, crossing this right ankle over the left knee, hugging both legs into the chest. Yes, working through the glute. Exhale, pull the legs in a little bit closer. Carefully release and switch sides. Taking nice full breaths. Noticing where your breath is at. Last breath here, pull them in a little bit more. And release. Finding a final resting pose that aligns with you. Maybe corpse pose, maybe child pose, reclined bound angle, maybe a seated position. Anywhere you can connect to your breath, ending this practice with some presence, some gratitude. Allowing the body to soften so that it can take in all that you just did for it. Continuing to breathe. focusing on the breath. We were working on control, and now we release control. Release the muscles, release the mind. And staying here for as long as you would like. And when you're ready, gently come back into the room. Find a way to a seated position where we take one last breath together. And I humbly thank you for allowing me to guide you in this practice today, for you showing up for yourself, connecting to your inner power. Thank you so much for joining me on Yoga with Paige. If you did enjoy this practice, give it a little thumbs up. Let me know what you thought down below, and I look forward to the next time I see you. Have a great and strong rest of your day. You can do all things.